That's very true.
And this we must not do.
That'd be a national police thing.
Right. That we must not have. The second thing is, however, on the other hand, if on a case-by-case basis, you could determine that you would want the Bureau to get in other words, where you sort of had the scent or the smell of the national conspiracy thing,
Yes.
you know, then that's a different matter. Now, would it be, for example, possible to say something like this: if you were to get a directive to the effect that and of course this would have to be by with, I suppose, approval by the Attorney General, or I don't know, or something like that.
Yes.
Where it said that where law enforcement officials, I mean, where there are attacks on law enforcement officials, and where there is evidence of or suspicion of conspiratorial or not conspiratorial, but you know what I mean, other than just a crime of violence.
Yes.
You know, the kind of thing like the Panthers and
like Panthers,
right?
So Democratic Society.
Something where it's basically that kind of an action.
Yes.
That then the Bureau, on a case-by-case basis, should go in and will go in and do everything that it can. Now, what I'm really trying to get at is this: is to give you is to find a way to get a handle so that you could go in only on cases where you want it, and where there were, and that would mean cases where it did appear as if it were this other thing. And then second, to go in with everything you've got. In other words, you could with surveillance, electronic, and everything. Is that already covered, or what is?
Well,
what would you
I tell
say?
you what is being done. It might be well to consider a public statement along that line. But New York, for instance, we've got now, I think, 80 men on a special squad, and I've instructed the assistant director of New York to take it as a bureau case and break it as a bureau.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
How did they play it on the news?
Well, all of the networks used your entire statement, and it was very positive all the way through. ABC used your entire statement. Hard Case Smith said that it was the most favorable comment, from all around, critics and everyone, that of everything the last 2 years. Read the Nancy and Church huge statement.
Right.
Said Fulbright didn't say anything, but he looked pleased. That's what he reported. And then Bergman, who was on ABC as a science guy, went into what was a fairly good piece because it focused attention on the Soviet buildup of ABM arms, which was good. NBC again used the full statement and was positive in their approach. CBS, same thing. Walter Cronkite referred to the importance of it, the significance of it.
They have Safire on.
Yes, that's the next thing to say. Cronkite said it could be the most important negotiation for peace of mankind. Severide focused primarily on the fact that the statement was phrased to minimize disagreement and maximize agreement. And he referred to it as a major breakthrough. And he said with the good relations with China, or moving toward good relations with China, stabilization in the Middle East, SALT talks, the relations with NATO, this could lead to very great significance in the overall world structure, and could be great progress. So it was all positive all the way through.
Good. Okay.
All of the networks spent a good deal of time on it.
Good.
I talked to Henry. He's going to do some more background, a little bit more tomorrow, but the 4 o'clock session as well.
We should do the news magazine.
Right. They were there at 4. They were there at the 4 o'clock session.
We need to do the major ones. I mean, you can't depend on the likes of yours.
So we invited John Field to the 4 o'clock meeting.
Well, I had him separately too.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Hello. Mr. Steeple, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Mr. Bull, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
been so long. It's sponsored by Tulane University Group.
Yes, Tulane. Yeah.
It is the Washington Hilton Hotel. It's the International Ballroom.
Oh, yeah.
The cars are out front.
Fine.
Right.
Okay.
South Portico.
Fine. All right. I'll be down just a minute.
All right.
Yes, please.
Safire, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Safire?
Bill.
Yes, Mr. President.
Would you send over for me, and I was in one of the talks I made recently about the Jefferson quote about fear.
The flatteries of hope, the gloom of despair?
Yeah. Was that what it was?
Yes.
Was it despair or fear? Fear and hope?
It was fear and despair.
What?
It was,
Consult our
I
fear.
much prefer the flatteries of hope to the gloom of despair. Or something like that. But it was against the gloom of despair, not fear.
Mm-hmm. I see. Well, maybe that won't fit so well. I'm going to have to present some science medals, and I was trying to give a little kick in the pants to the people, you know, that let's don't do any more, make any scientific research, whether in flying through the air or nuclear breakthroughs and so forth, because of our fears that a plant will explode or we'll get skin cancer or we don't want to do this or that other thing. And what we really have to do is to simply go back to nature and zero growth rate and all that crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe that quote fits. I don't know. You think it would?
The flatteries of hope.
I don't know. That doesn't quite hit it. The flatteries of hope. Yeah, not the exact. I think that the way you put it, you paraphrased it then in the talk where you just said as Thomas Jefferson said, we
Much prefer hope to the gloom of despair.
we can paraphrase it another way. We much prefer hope to this is a nation. Why don't you just go back to see that little talk you had set there? Just send me over the pertinent lines, will you please?
Or I remember one line of Al Smith that the American people never carry an umbrella.
Yeah.
They're prepared to walk in eternal sunshine.
Yeah. Well, this audience probably wouldn't. A bunch of scientists probably wouldn't appreciate Smith, but they might appreciate Jefferson.
All right, let me get something over.
Not that they ought to appreciate him, but nevertheless. Franklin, of course, was the great scientist of the bunch, wasn't he? Of course, all of them, Jefferson and Franklin, all those early guys, they were all interested in architecture and science and so forth and so on.
Right. Let me see if I can come up with something that might.
But if there was something on Franklin, well, anyway, if there is something there, that's fine. I don't need much. And I won't need it till around 10:30.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Dr. Kissinger, sir.
Hello. Henry? President. Yeah. How are you getting along in your briefings? You seen any more people?
I have, but I see people all afternoon.
Right.
But I don't know whether you've seen the Los Angeles Times.
No.
John Scally was in, and he expressed my own feeling. He said, John said, there is some thought, maybe on your part, that we haven't had a good press. He thinks it's the most spectacular thing to see.
Well, I think what I really think in terms of the press is basically the Post and the Times. Like the Times headline, if you read it, says U.S. and Soviet to stress ABMs. Well, now that's a deliberate shaft.
That is.
It's a shaft, and it's totally incorrect. And somebody ought to take them on that. Don't you think?
I'm having that practice on that.
Yeah. Is he coming in?
Yeah.
Well, I would lay it in. I'd just say that's totally incorrect, deliberately so, and it really is. And of course, they didn't give it the play that they should have either. I mean, this kind of a thing would have been 8-column banner if the other, you know what I mean? Hey, they're dying, Henry. That's their problem.
So that is
their problem. And Scally has got to realize that whatever we got is not really what it's worth. I'm not disappointed. That's what I expected. But I would say that unexpected. I think we've done an excellent job considering what the opposition is. But really, you figure stop to think, Jesus, these senators are out on the limb. The newspapers are out on the limb. They all, Post and the rest have been saying all those things. So what the hell do you expect them to do? They're gonna try to as best to protect their position, and they're petrified at the thought that maybe we're going to get an agreement.
But it has a certain advantage that it, in the long term, that it is overplayed.
Sure. Oh, that's true.
Makes the negotiations easier.
True. Oh, I'm not.
And still, it's a big, Los Angeles Times has a big headline.
Sure.
It's front page everywhere.
Sure. Oh, it would be. Well, good God, it ought to be front page. But what I meant is that they said the New York Times is playing its usual game, just straight
I
out
think it will continue to
stress ABMs. They missed the point. That isn't what it says. I mean, the significance is not to stress it. It's to stress both.
Exactly.
I think most of the others got that it's defensive and offensive. But
with that, the Los Angeles Times has on the front page initiative, the mixed letter to completion starts the process or something like that as a headline.
that's good. Now that's the way to get it across.
The Baltimore Sun, I understand, has a good headline.
Sure.
So we've got these special problem children here from the New York Times.
Sure. And as a matter of fact, the others will nitpick, but they better not nitpick too much, Henry, because there's going to be a deal made here. You and I both know it.
And Scally is going over to the Fed stuff and not taking details.
Yeah.
So I think this.
Listen, I don't think you could have handled it better. It's all out there, and of course we want to realize we got a hell of a television wallop on it.
Was to be 8 minutes.
And apparently it's Safire and the others.
It's very good, and John was very good. Scally may not know politics, but he feels it was a tremendous play. Maybe not as much as certainly not as much as Kennedy would have done.
Fine. It's got them on their heels for a little while. And again, it gets the normal stage. Did they run the low casualties in their story? Check. Guesses they probably didn't. You might needle ask them to see if they did. I look at Colson's people don't chew about it. But I think it's fine. You're just the right thing. Just play it right on out.
But I'll be seeing Time and Newsweek this afternoon.
Good. And play it I think the idea of playing everything just very positively. We're going to work for agreement. Sure, it's hard, but we expect to get one. It's offensive and defensive. It's simultaneous. Period. So, have a little fun with them. Okay, Henry.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is Nixon, please.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Kissinger, please.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Mr. President,
Did you finish with your friend?
I certainly did. I think this thing is really building.
Tell me, where are you? Where you can talk?
Yeah, I'm at home.
Fine. How'd it go with him?
Well, very well. And he said, this is turning into...
I thought it was good to stop in.
Oh, I thought it was terrific.
It makes him realize that we're talking about other important things too.
Well,
Go ahead.
Frankel said that the more he thought about it, the more significantly considered it. He said yesterday they were only sticking around on the statement because that's all they really understood and had before them.
Yeah.
But the more he thinks about it, the more he thinks that you are entering a whole new era, that you're creating a whole new era of American foreign policy, one of the most significant in 20 years.
He said that?
Yeah. And Chalmers Roberts called tonight and said he just wants me to know that there would be a very positive editorial in the Post tomorrow. And also he wanted me to know that as he thought about it, he's concluded that you serve your constituency and Brezhnev serves his constituency, but the world wants.
Good.
Which is, maybe a cynical way of putting it. But they're all, in fact, the more they think about it, the more positive they become.
Well, really, looking at these fellows, and we all know that they're selfish and partisan and the rest, but on the other hand, all the decent guy, any guy with any sense of decency, is interested in world peace.
Yes.
And he's got to realize that this is an enormously potential breakthrough in that area that they've never even thought about.
Well, for example, I get the Boston Globe.
Oh, yeah.
Robert Healy. Has
Yeah.
a whole column on the editorial page covering the whole length of it.
Yeah.
A large plus for Mr. Nixon.
Oh?
And it's, the president is beginning to mold an extremely creditable record in foreign policy, so on and so forth. He's now come forward with a major development in the strategic arms limitation talks. He takes the talks from the exploratory stage to the substantive stage. And although it may still be a long way down the track, it would ultimately lead to the first major breakthrough in the arms build-up between the United States and the Soviet Union. And this after only 18 months of talk. And then goes on.
The point is that you and I know we're going to have an agreement. We're either going to have an agreement or we're going to have at them, one or the other.
Yeah.
And it'll be an agreement.
Oh, I think they're going to have it.
They need it. And so, Franco, you were able to make all of our 4 points.
Oh, I made all those points. While I was at it, we talked about China.
Good.
Talked about your initiative there. I left no doubt in his mind that I gave him all the reasoning why in December you concluded that the time was right to move to the Soviets on a broad front, and why you then moved to January.
That's really true. We did conclude it in December.
Well, you remember we talked after the Polish uprising, and we concluded that the Soviets would now have to move towards us, and that we should build a bridge for them. And that's why when Dobrynin called me to say he was going back for Politburo talks, you ordered me to see him and make these propositions.
December the 8th. Yeah.
On January the 8th, and after all, they covered Berlin, they covered a whole range of things.
The fact that the Britain and the Soviet were willing to correct that text is significant, don't you think?
Oh, God.
Do you really think so?
Oh, yes, Mr. President, that was. And I don't know whether you saw that you've got everybody.
Tell me about it. I hadn't read
You've got the New York Daily News.
I've been busy all day
giving
long.
you the whole third page, which is, their whole, their big page, the first page being pictures.
Interesting. Yeah, go ahead. New York Daily News.
The New York Daily News has the whole third and the whole fourth page are devoted to this, plus the whole editorial column.
They have.
With pictures of you and the column that says hot or cold, armed talks may lead to peace, and a picture of you. I think the fact that we have been somewhat modest and not oversold it is going to help us enormously. Tomorrow, Thomas Roberts also said we've got the Democrats in an absolute stew because every reasonable criticism has now been met on salt, and only the nuts can oppose us.
Well, okay. Get a good night's sleep. We'll see you at 7:25.
Right, right, Mr. President.
Okay, bye. Just a minute. Didn't cancel the call. I'll have something.
Oh, thank you. Yes, please.
Alex Butterfield, please.
Yes, please.
You can cancel the call to Butterfield. I have one.
I see, Mr. President. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dr. Kissinger calling?
Mr. President?
Hello, Henry. How are you?
Okay. I hope you had some good weather then.
Oh, yeah. It was bloody hot.
Good.
But it was not no rain.
Mr. President, actually nothing much has happened. The casualties this last week were 34, and they didn't include the 31.
Did not?
No,
Why not?
because they have notified the next of kin yet. They don't list them until the next of kin.
Oh.
But we're trying to get them to spread them over several weeks.
Why not? That's right. Fair enough.
So far, the casualties is at the end of Wednesday.
Yeah.
After 5 this week, so this is a bad week.
There were 34 without any of the 31?
Yeah.
They might have had some in there.
So they might have had some of the trying to that.
That's all right. That's good. That's good. Well, it's good to have 34 this week because I'm not planning on concerts on Friday. Great.
So you decided whether that will be the evening or...
Oh, yeah.
Because we got something expecting. I had people prepared.
Well, it has to be at night, right?
Right. Well, there was some... We got some word that you were reconsidering and might have it only in August. Mr. President, the one thing I did want to discuss with you is the meeting with you. I have had research done on how many times the end of ground combat has been announced this year. And Laird alone has announced it already 15 times.
Has he?
And Rogers has announced it about 7 times. Also, I ran...
So it doesn't mean much, huh?
My grave concern is this, that the minute you announce this, that we now have Vietnam happily on the back pages of the newspaper.
Yeah.
The minute you announce a meeting with you, all the Harriman and company will scream to high heaven.
What do you think we can get out of it?
Yes, I think we can. I've put a whole...
I just assume.
And my recommendation...
I'm not too damn anxious about that. I'd like to have something positive on Vietnam this month, but
well,
if we
Mr.
can't do it...
President, what I think is this. By the middle of June, we will know whether the Vietnamese accept our proposal or reject it.
Right. And then if
they reject it, we can go out there, announce the end of combat, and make the proposal publicly together with you. Everyone will say that you're a genius for having got you to do it. If the Vietnamese accept it,
make a proposal.
As a joint...
You mean a proposal for a ceasefire?
For the whole package.
Bleeding out the other thing.
No, deadline and everything. And let them reject it publicly. If they accept it, you will have to seat you in order to keep the thing from blowing up. And then we can take the heat because we will be in the same position as we were with the Mansfield Amendment that 2 or 3 weeks later the solution will surface.
But you don't think that this announcement now means...
I honestly don't think so. I talked to Phil today.
Yeah.
showed him the cable. There was no problem.
What's he think?
He thinks the same thing.
He'd rather wait.
Yes. And I...
Fine, well then, you know, another thing you can do, let him think that, sorry, which is true, that you're weighing that, you or that, you'll just wait and see. But he doesn't know about the other meeting.
Oh, no. But we will hold so many more cards. You see, by the middle of June, I think we will have had Semyonov here and signed the accidental war agreement.
Yeah.
So we will have a number of things going. We will have had the Chinese reply. We will have then know what the cards look like. We have to see him this month. I mean, he's been promised it.
Well, that's the point. We have to see him.
But I think we can see him between the 20th and 30th and be a lot more effective. Even if we only make a group announcement then, it will be closer to the time that the combat obligations actually start. I frankly believe that you will lose more than you gain. I'm sending you a memo which has the whole record of what has been said this year. I'm just afraid that some people are going to say, so what else is true? And that you will be accused. And you just won't.
The only thing is, I don't know what the hell more we can go about. Let's assume we don't get anything out of here. But then you come out and just what you say.
Well, then we can do two things. We announce the end of combat, and we make the offer of the withdrawal. We know it will get turned down. And then everyone will say the reason you got you the best way was to get him to agree to that proposition.
Well, let me say I'm going to fix it. But then just certain about the base. We're going to have to heavy shelling from Russian they subside very, very deeply. Back draft even. But it may be that isn't enough to
I'm
try
just
to
afraid it isn't enough. You can sleep over it if we don't have
No, I know. Well, if it isn't enough, there's no reason to do it. So,
my instinct is, and take right independently came to the same view.
well,
But the average American may not have heard all these things that Leonard Garment was saying.
yeah. The other thing. Average American, they've been saying it, but they haven't gotten through the consciousness. You check the polls, they don't believe that we're even going to get out. So you see, sometimes you never want to think sophisticates what they say. So they hear it, we can't repeat too often.
But I think that by the end of the month, say by June 25th, or whatever future the completion date is in regard, you will see your part much more clearly. Because one thing that I was going to suggest to you tomorrow, Professor, if you agree, is we ought to give the Russians an ultimatum on the summit in about 2 weeks. Tell them if they don't agree now, then we'll just defer it just like that's living dangerously.
Yeah.
But we can't let them play the game with us.
Well, let's see. This is June. In 2 weeks, you say that'd be around the 1st of June. About August 15th.
See, then if we have announced the summit, or know we are going to get a summit,
I don't know if we can get anything out of it.
I think we can, Mr. President, because yesterday, and I told him about your decisions on the Speechwriting.
Yeah.
He's now come in with a huge package on economic aid they want. Yeah. And I just don't see why we should triple it out to them and they give nothing in return.
I agree. Well, and I spoke to these editors down there today. I talked to them about the whole thing. So, very guarded in terms of this could open way to other things. negotiating to go forward.
I think if we tell them, Mr. President, that they either have to tell us now, they are trying to play Berlin. They're trying to keep. Also, if we get a summit commitment out of them, it will bring pressure on the Gulf negotiations.
Well, if you got getting a commitment isn't enough, Henry. We've had that before.
No, and an announcement.
That's what I mean. They've got to announce it. And we've got to say that, look, we've got to make an announcement, get over this.
But then giving the economic commitments makes some sense. Otherwise, they're going to harvest everything.
Yeah.
And then play it to their maximum advantage.
You didn't talk about to him about summit today, did you?
No, much more. No, he said that if these things work out, bigger things will follow. But,
well, they help.
But they can't play. I don't think we should let them play with us.
Well, that's bigger than follow. What the hell big can follow?
You see, another thing, Mr. President, we have the great incentive to speed up the Berlin negotiations unless we know there's going to be a summit. And the way the things are going now, they're going to pocket it all, and we've lost our pressure. If they refuse a summit, there's no earthly reason why they should refuse a summit.
No, we've agreed to shuttle salt, at least on an interim basis.
We've been helpful to them on Berlin.
And we're now looking at economic packages.
We are giving them economic packages.
I simply tell them, look, the economic thing should be announced at the summit. To do that.
And I think what I should tell them, Mr. President, if you agree, they are fairly soon after the first review. Now the forward of this, then we've been working around for the President has to make the schedule. They'll be delighted to come to Moscow if you can do it in December. We'll have to do it. It worked with Salt. I gave him 48 hours to answer and came back in 24.
Now we're in a position to move on these other things. If it's time to do it, but we've got to know.
Then if they refuse, we just start dragging our feet on some other.
And we'll just say we'll have to postpone it indefinitely. Why don't you say rather than spring?
Yeah.
Why the hell do we want to do it in spring?
I just say we'll postpone that.
We'll just
forget about it and raise it.
Let's just forget about it. As far as this year is concerned.
And then you see, then we have. That's what I mean. And then we have all the cards in our hands. We will know yes or no from them. And we'll have the Chinese answer.
Yeah.
I think it's a better way of playing it. And then we'll be fused against, and then they won't scream so much.
Well, I thought of me to push them on that. The only thing that worries me a little about it is that it appears that we're begging for the goddamn summit. I would think they'd want it too. But,
they want it, Mr. President. They are just playing a cute game. They're trying to get everything and pocket it and have us at the maximum bargaining position. I think this way, if we keep giving them economic aid, if we keep delivering on
Gleason's all we're going to give them right now.
Gleason and the computer, and the computer you had already approved. I'm just throwing that in. That's independent. That's the British. You approved that with Heath when Heath was there.
All right.
But then, Mr. President, we have a chance of giving them some more economic aid. While if we don't do it, our refusal to give them economic things will be badly received.
My view is that if you're going to do this, I'd do it in a week.
Well, it's the 25th. That's about right.
In other words, around the 1st of June, the 2nd, 3rd of June, which is basically right after Memorial Day.
That's right.
Tuesday or Wednesday of next week.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm on the Q thing. I must say, have mixed emotions. I'm inclined to think that it would mean more than we gathered into combat. But what the hell? It's been discounted. The press made discounted. That's the whole problem.
The press and the TV people made discounted.
They just kill you.
And then Harriman will be on every national network saying
So
this is a way of stacking Q. And we've got nothing to top it with. We get these other cards in our hands.
Well, if you could come with this And if when you went to CG, you had this plus an author, the deadline.
That's what I mean. At least we
You know, it's awfully damn hard for those that have been talking deadline to be against ceasefire, isn't it?
absolutely.
They don't say ceasefire, you know.
But I thought
But on the other hand, how in the hell can you set a deadline and not say ceasefire? Because otherwise you jeopardize your remaining forces as they become less and more vulnerable.
But I saw Anthony today, Mr. President. He was in town.
Oh,
And he says that just to do it for prisoners is too little.
oh hell, yeah.
And he mentioned, in fact, I didn't tell him it was acceptable, exactly the package we've developed, and he thinks that the North Vietnamese will accept it. But he could be wrong. I'm not nearly so optimistic. But if they reject it, we can make it public.
To have him go back and it could be a very good cover for you. Take something.
Exactly.
Can he be back in Paris?
He is back. He's left the farm.
That's very good. You can, so you know.
Right.
Sure.
Memorial Day weekend.
That's right.
But I will hold off with you until tomorrow.
No. I have no, if he has to know,
No, we can wait till
I have no strong feeling about the damn thing. Let me put it this way. Does Bill Rogers feel we should not have it too?
that's right.
Because he doesn't think that means it.
That's right.
But he realizes we got to have a meeting.
I have explained to him that he's not.
Promised it an earlier
Doctor
time.
was here. He has no ill feeling about the project or anything.
He has no objection to going to have a meeting.
No.
Just didn't want to have it now.
Exactly. And on this issue alone.
Did he suggest being prepared to make some sort of a peace offer at the time?
No. Because he doesn't know anything.
No, that's right. Open up for him. Don't open to the Laird, though, for Christ's sake. Talking to Dan
I don't think we need to say any more to Rogers except that he's secured until the end of the month.
Yeah. When does he go to Europe?
Next Tuesday.
Oh, he goes up.
No.
Well, under the circumstances, I think the best for the last one.
Right.
Let's just do it. Get it done now.
Right.
He feels okay.
Right.
Our June 20.
I'll check a date with Haldeman tomorrow morning. I think we ought to have an alternative date.
Yeah.
I'll check a date and then I'll send them in.
Do it. Take a crack at it. Well, anyway, nothing else was new. The salt thing is eventually going to get understood by people.
Oh, well, I think it's understood now. I can assure you, Mr. President,
I think by all intelligence, yeah. I mean, people knowing about it.
Well, the people who don't know anything about it think we've achieved something which they don't
Something
understand.
new, huh?
And the people who do draft is ecstatic. The whole press is very positive. Branson had a very positive article about you in the Sunday Times. Doesn't mean a hell of a lot in terms of circulation. But I think it has had a very good response.
Well, it's kind of like the China thing. It's sort of the same positive response.
But then everyone is saying again that in foreign policy you know exactly what you're doing. You're putting it all together.
Except on Vietnam.
Well, but
that really is the problem because of the fact that our enemies trust. And of course, people like Hoover and the rest keep hacking away. But none of it just carry a burden there that people. We just have to make a sale that nobody will buy. Except in Alabama, they'll all buy it. They'll have big signs up, "Win the war."
Mr. President, I think the people will buy it, and I think it will pay off after.
Vietnam? Oh, after it's done. Great.
But I think even now, the way these questions are asked,
Yeah, the polls are pretty good.
meaningless.
They have some but the hell. Look for the best. Well, fine. Go right ahead, Henry, and get the fuel that's been out of the way.
Right.
I don't mind putting it in.
Right.
Higher part of Jim. First Jim.
Right.
All right. Good. Mr. Haldeman, please. Hello.
Hi, Mr. Holman.
Hello. Bob, I just talked to Henry and thought I'd alert you. He's your son and me in a couple places. I think we will have to put that tube in off to the 20th. Okay. In that period of time. Okay. Now, don't forget, when he talks to you tomorrow, I think he's quite flexible in that period. And of course, the economic thing, that meeting can be put around it one way or another, either before we go or when we return, whatever the case might be.
Oh, that, you mean the productivity thing?
What the hell with productivity? I won't be for that. Yeah. I mean, unless they want to come to California. And what I meant is, if we have to go to Midway on the 20th and 30th, that other meeting on the budget.
Oh, yeah, I see. Right, sure.
Just have that suits us.
Right. Well, that'd be fine. You could just stop in California.
Yes, I think it'll work out. They're give dates on either end. In other words, yeah. Well, we can survive it. Go on with that, I think. Now, other thing, he said that I mentioned to him when I was that he talked to somebody who said that we were considering doing an office. Right. No. I didn't know. Did he talk to somebody?
I don't know. That's the first I've heard anybody mention that. So
I wouldn't want to waste my energy.
absolutely not. No thought of that at all.
Other possibility, suppose that we might consider, if we think the Friday on I think that is not a good thing. We could be Tuesday first. You can think about it.
Okay.
They're going forward and getting material ready tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll have the domestic stuff, but Henry doesn't have his ready, which may be why he's fussing around about something, because he said he's got word on the plane coming back tonight that he wasn't going to have his ready at home tomorrow.
Well, I want this prepared about the same way as the right. I don't want it domestic before.
Right.
This one.
But Pat gets the input from both of them.
But I really want to do 10 major questions. Oh, well.
No, they won't do two books. Pat will put it into one.
Yeah. But what I meant is that I want them to get it thought through domestic. maybe that's why tell him not to go to the egg. He should have it ready. Tell him to take all day tomorrow. Yep. No, I was talking to they said that I had the Kiernan, our advanced guy, television. He said apparently it must have been some misunderstanding, contact press. Julie, Professor Hart, just wanted to do it on television. I just want to be sure that, with Pat, she will not sometimes do it, but whenever we can, we want to, if we ever have to, we don't have it very often. And, Tricia, yep, it's a hell of a waste. We just have them go talk to the writing press. I'm sure that all of that kind of just thinking the same applies to them. But that's what they did go ahead. She said that the camera's there, so they did go ahead, I'm sure, for me, which is exactly what I wanted. Sure. I would have, if I had been asked, I would of course stick them the whole goddamn, all the television down there, too. I think that's awfully good stuff. Darn right. That's as much as they can find at the moment. I'll sure check that. Well, it was not your fault. It's just if they're willing to, Connie, let them do it. Connie doesn't really know. You see what the she's naturally she's lived on terms. She's very good to do anything. But I'm never going to have anybody waste their time doing things for the press. We want to, make television. As far as we were, as I was concerned, we had our television story and the crowd. I would not want to have gone on yakking around. Right. That would have been a great mistake. We got to, or they wouldn't run that. Must say, they must have come. Yeah. Well, great. Those pictures from Mobile. Huge. Both places. Also solidly pro-American. That's right. And the damn flags. Cheers and so forth. It will not go unnoticed because reception. Armistice. All of them. Yeah. Everybody noticed. Yeah. Noticed our quote we stuck there. Oh, we sure did. That's fine. Got red blunt right in his car with him. He knew where it went. I noticed he got some booze too. Yeah. Probably your public. Also, you ran a dirty. No, it was out in the crowd. You ran a dirty campaign. Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah. Well, he doesn't look so hot either. You don't think so? No, I thought he had a strange look. I guess he always has, but fanatical look. Yeah, but he also kind of, I don't know, he had sort of deep smoke or something. He doesn't seem to have the pizzazz that he used to have. Yeah. Yeah. Look back on it. The only way to do it is completely. Yeah. I only wish we could go without Kavanaugh, without. Well, we can't. I mean, without. Well, Janet must have run it for office, but without Congress, the senators, the governor, and all that sort of thing. We do pretty well. But what I mean is that You can just go in and find some damn event, meditation and so forth, and have people knock away. It's really so much more effective than having to go, as we did in the 70s, campaign for some guy.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
You can divide people with that guy and his rifle. You gotta stand up, you gotta hold up your hand.
Said you could do it all your way, and it just worked beautifully. You had the opportunity to stop, get into the crowd, let the crowd come up to you, without the hall coming up along.
Press would find it very hard to splice them too, because we demonstrated it practically. The Negroes were extremely effective.
Boy, weren't they?
The whites were extremely effective. There were very few freedom of choice times. I had two.
Hardly any. Yeah.
One or two. And every place you went, they were young and hollering.
Great enthusiasm, and it was Nixon enthusiasm. Yay, Nixon. A lot of real positive reaction.
What did Ron know?
Yeah, very safe. Oh, Ellen Thomas was her usual bubbling self. Even Henry Hubbard was enthusiastic. But they were all very impressed. Of course, they're all, as they do on everything else, they're all trying to figure the political significance.
Well, in all of my remarks, I was also very, very careful not to play to their prejudices.
Yep.
I talked about the race together, we stopped, and you know what I mean. There was no damn,
I didn't hear your thing in the briefing. I understand it was just sensationally good. George Ronald was ecstatic.
He didn't know any better. I just gave very big dose, frankly, of foreign policy.
Yeah.
Because I knew that the other subjects, I had about, did you know that damn briefing folder they gave me, there were 40 pages of stuff. So, Jesus Christ.
That's the stuff they're covering with them.
Well, they don't want to hear from me. They don't give a goddamn about revenue sharing, environment, health, and manpower training from me.
They got all that.
I got most of it. So they want to hear about the world, about the spirit of the country, and all that stuff. Yeah. But also, in the public affairs, over here, you talk about what the South presidents ought to come more often, every 50 years, every 100 years, over and so forth. That has a hell of an effect in Alabama. Don't you think? I sure do.
I think Scott take a sweep of the state like that today. Can't help but have it.
Well, and also in the brief, I'm sure he's got the power and should have been, but it was good.
As far as you know, John wanted to use coffee there, but he was in Europe.
Oh, no. I don't mean that our power, but I meant the power in terms of the editors, so forth and so on. Editors and so forth. I have to leave that place. Out of touch with the story. But I guess it's rather hard. No, it shouldn't be very much.
No,
You might check to see.
I sure will.
What, I think you can see a lot of the people there that I would expect would be affected. Maybe even get the invitation around here.
Well, I had time. Then some of them we done pretty much in short order.
It may be, and also it may be that some of them would go on and didn't come to see the exception to so.
Oh, that's possible. but I think most of them. Now they did, if you had a lot of Florida, a lot of Alabama in the receiving line, they did add some local press to the receiving line. That weren't the ones that were in the briefing. They were the local press that was covering during the day. Yeah. But, it was that thing that has the local press.
One thing we said weekend was one of the best pictures of the year.
Julie and David?
My God.
There's several of them.
Oh, I know, they're different ones, and I've seen 3 or 4 of them. That will be a prize one. Bound to be.
Wonderful pictures.
And great pictures of them and so forth. So it's just fine. The little girl got her picture in the Miami paper, which is good. She saw that. But this is the one that's much better from our standpoint. Yeah. We see Miss United States all the time.
That picture got around too, but the Julie and David picture is, I think you're thinking.
Well, it was carried in the New York News and the Washington Post and the New York Times too.
Yeah,
they just cannot resist that kind of a picture. And, really, the number of people that love dogs, the number of people that love fishing, the number of people that love 2 rather normal kids. It really, I don't think, can beat about it. What do you think?
That's right. No, it's just one of those things. Just get a rare shot like that when you come out of this foot.
Well, give some thought to whether you think Tuesday might be better than Friday. I just don't know.
Okay.
Do you have any feelings about it now?
Not offhand, no, I really don't. Yeah. I don't think it really makes much difference, and it seems to me maybe sooner better than later.
Yeah, totally.
Well, get it over with, and then,
things are great.
Good time to do it. A lot of writing.
Well, there'll be quite a bit of news out of what I said of them. They'll make a lot of news out of what I said to the media people, because they, our Herbert, he puts it all on the record. It's not. It was. I will work on this. Nevertheless, there'll be quite a bit of news and make things like say. That's all right. Kind of the foreign policy I was talking about. if they play it right, now, the story. We go from there to not bad, is it?
The advantage of Friday is the Sunday papers, weekend.
That's right.
First Tuesday doesn't have to. I don't know. It might be better to do it too.
So, thinking of the TV audience, the hell with the paper, the hell with the news and all the rest. I've covered them all. They got enough Tuesday today, just to take out that. That was a news story. But seeing that, we've got to think of when we have the better TV audience, Friday or Tuesday.
Yeah, why would you just have to go on a judgment guess? And I just don't know. The
question of the day after.
the normal ratings wouldn't be much different, but because of Memorial Day weekend, I suppose there's a possibility. I don't know whether Friday gets a lower rating or a higher rating.
Yeah.
And nobody will be able to tell you, except by guess. Let me do a little check.
That's sort of a feel.
Yeah.
Edgar, please.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Well, how did the press play the day?
Quite well. They played very good on the TV news.
What they used there?
Well, they used
motorcade.
the motorcade, crowd chat, very good, and then they used
They used both cities. Or just
I'm not sure of that. I have to look at the tapes tomorrow because the people here really couldn't tell. You know, they sort of wove the whole thing into an Alabama story, not as much as over with the, of course, the dedication to water. But I think they used probably a good deal of Mobile and also Birmingham. But I understand. I didn't see it. I called in to Mort Allen's people and they said play very well. I think CBS had 3 minutes, NBC something number 2 in ABC about 2 minutes. So it played very good. And the reaction amongst all the press who I talked to was that it was a very good day.
pretty hard.
Well, they couldn't find it.
Crowds.
Good reception.
Well, the crowds were, of course, hoping.
Well, both of them were fantastic
Yeah,
crowds.
considering the size of the city.
And they were
Birmingham was an enormous crowd.
fantastic.
That had no crowd. 100,000.
Well, that's what they're quoting. They're moving as over 100,000, and they're moving as Mobile was 80,000, 60,000.
The biggest either counted.
Well, the chief of police in Birmingham, Ed Moore, chief there, said it was larger than the astronaut crowd. And he said, he gave a quote that it was the largest crowd.
They were all friendly.
Absolutely.
How'd they play the Wallace thing? That part, you notice how close he stuck to me? That's fine.
No, well,
He had every right to.
I think that worked out just fine.
Sure.
Anyway, that they can really get that.
Well, I didn't cater to them either. I mean, I didn't cater to any of their prejudices. I tried to back the other way.
The remarks and everything,
Yeah.
I think
The remarks were put in terms of one country.
right, the unity thing, and that came through on the report. Now, I thought your presentation, the guys who were in the presentation, the reaction to your remarks to the editors, very well. I thought it was
Sort of a,
I thought it was I thought it was great because
what do you
the
call
way
it? Tour le monde.
yeah, they right, and you did it in such a relaxed
They never
way.
had before.
You did it in such a relaxed way, and the people who listened to the tape afterwards, felt that. It was a reflective pulling together a lot of things. It was an excellent job, and everyone felt that. Those who were in there,
Yeah.
and those
Who was in there? Who covered
the Bill Tice was in there, and Doug Cornell,
they're smart.
Gene Richard, and
The three men.
right. And they were talking about it both in the press room afterwards and also on the front.
Now, they covered that as that was all covered as on the record.
On the record.
It's only
And
when you
people afterwards, for example, the people, from the various states who came in were just, asking us to make sure that we rushed the transcript up to them. The drawing together, the pulling together in a very complete, clear way. The situation.
The difficulty, of course, with the tape and that kind of presentation, generally it sounds better than the read. You see, there's a lot of repetition.
Well, that's why it was important to play the tape. That's why.
But if they will,
But I think it'll read well too. We're
edit it down.
right. That's right.
Great. They're all.
Pull the foreign policy thing together. And the part about the unity of the country and the spirit of the country, particularly the way you wrapped it up, was really very good. Played the point quite well. And I think everyone thinks that. And I think the part about referring to the South, the strength of the South.
Yeah.
And if
they're economically strong, they contribute to a stronger America economically and a stronger American militarily, but they also contribute in a spiritual and ideological way that is goddamn important. They're patriotic and they're religious.
Right.
It was good to hit that religious thing.
And it was good to hit the theme of the strong military defense. And if things are going to be reduced, they should be reduced in a mutual way.
And that a unilateral reduction on either side increases the danger, and a mutual reduction reduces the danger.
No, I thought it was a good job. And everyone I talked to, and you can sense these things,
how about
where they volunteer.
How about some of the more sophisticated Lisador and those people?
Well, Lisador wasn't wrong. But fellows like Courtney Sheldon, for example,
he knows.
He thought it was a great thing. Bill Matney from NBC came up to me on his own after the plane.
Is he colored?
Yes, he's black.
He's a nice guy, though.
Yes, he is. He's covered you for a long time.
Yeah. What did he say?
He came up to me, made a point of coming up just as you were shaking hands. He said, I'm playing dirt. No, I confess it. All the way. But it was
He couldn't help to notice, too, that Negroes were extremely friendly.
well, particularly the black.
And I, stopped at that, just like the others. He must have liked my references to the Negroes, fights together. We couldn't have race against race. There's a lot of good.
The tone was set very beautifully today, very well. There are going to be differences. There's going to continue to be differences, but it should not sap the strength from the country.
Well, we'll see.
Excellent. I think they should play.
We are debating right now, about whether to go Friday night or Tuesday night. Press. The one advantage of Tuesday would be that it's at the after the weekend is over, And Friday, Bob, when we originally talked about it, we wanted a Thursday. That's our ideal day. And we couldn't do a Thursday because of the center. Friday starts the weekend. The other thing, people do listen to television on weekends, so is that what you're just
My immediate reaction would be the Tuesday.
What about missing the opportunity of, well, in a sense, I suppose we had a lot of news this week already.
I didn't have
This is Tuesday.
West Point.
Yeah.
See, with West Point this week.
Might be jamming it up a bit at the press conference Friday.
I just have a better feeling. And again, I had to talk to Bob about it. Just about all of those. But my immediate feeling is that Tuesday, I just think Tuesday would be the...
Why don't you sit down tomorrow with Bob and get Scully in on possibly what you all feel and then talk to me about it around and regularly art. Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir. I think.
Yes, please.
Dr. Kirsten.
Thanks. Yes, please.
You can hold that. I can
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rogers, please.
Yes, Mr. President.
Hello.
Secretary Rogers.
Hello.
Hello? Bill? Hi, Mr. President.
I was hoping to call you to tell you to invite you to play golf. David's going to leave Saturday for his tour in the Mediterranean, but I can't do it today. They piled up some more things. They shot two. Isn't that horrible, the shooting of those policemen in New York?
Isn't that awful?
And fortunately, one of them was a black if one had to be shot.
Jesus.
But, goddamn, I told Mitchell to get some sort of legislation if he has to break the Constitution to do it. This is, and, you know, they shot this poor little bastard here in Washington.
Oh, isn't that awful?
I mean, the guy he never had a gun in his hand. He goes to church and bowls. I go to church and bowls. Somebody shoot me in the back, I guess.
Isn't that awful?
Yeah. Incidentally, I wanted to tell you, I'm going to send over that memorandum that I spoke to you, and I'm going to send it by a military man, and I want it to be delivered privately to you.
Right.
Will you take it privately?
Oh, yes, and I'll have it locked up in my own safe. When nobody else
Well, that's all right. That's perfectly all right. I just want you to say the second thing is that I would like to sit down to talk about the Mideast alone with you and Henry, just the three of us. I don't want to have it in the NSC. I don't want to get everybody else. I'm sorry, not the Mideast, but about, I don't know why I talk about China. Yeah, you know, about the China thing. And Bush raised the thing, you know, on the plane. But what I would like for you to do, and I've told Henry to do likewise in his shop, to pull everything together and pull all the political considerations and all the other things, and Bob is looking in the polls for it. What I'd like for you to do is to really get the strongest arguments that you can get, in other words, from your shop, but on the ground. But I'd like to keep it in a posture where it doesn't appear that the president is wavering and all that sort of thing. But because, as you know, it's a damn close question at the moment, particularly with the Soviet thing going on and a lot of other things, and also with the very negative reaction to Xiang. Have you seen the new Chinese ambassador yet?
Yes.
Jimmy Shan?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Did you talk to him about this?
Not really, no, because I didn't, quite know what to say.
Well, I'll try to get. He's an old friend of mine. He translated for me every time I went over there to see the old man, and nice fellow. But well, anyway, get your arguments in a row.
Fine.
Yeah, the thing what?
Well, I was going to say the thing that I think that they feel is that they may be let down. I think the thing they really forget is that if we follow the present policy, we're going to let them down faster.
Right. Well, that's true. I think, of course, there's this principal thing that they're worried about, and also there's a problem we've got, which is a very significant one within this country, as to, I mean, you could start. I mean, it's amazing we've kept the right quieted down on Russia and on China to date. But there's one thing, you know, they got a committee of 1 million, Walter Judd, and all the rest. And the old gentleman, he can stir up those people.
Might be an idea if we should decide. Well, maybe it'd be a good idea either then to talk to some of those people. I know Ronald pretty well and get his views on it.
Well, Bob Haldeman will call about the date. If you and Henry could chat a little to see if that neither of you duplicate with regard to his prayer, and just the three of us will sit down. Let's take an hour and a half or so and find out what the hell we want to do about it.
That'd be fine.
Because you've got to know before you go to Europe.
That's
don't you?
right.
Yeah. What time would it be? You say?
Yeah, I was just thinking about when you think we might be able to do it.
Tomorrow morning.
That'd be fine. That'd be good.
Oh, wait a minute. I've got Faisal. Well, that's all right. I can do it earlier than that. Faisal doesn't take any time.
Well, we can do it in the afternoon. I've got the afternoon free.
What is the situation? Why not do it in the morning? Well, what time is Faisal's arrival? 10 o'clock? Good God. That much time for him? Okay. What is well, you're coming to the Faisal lunch?
Yes.
All right. Right after the Faisal lunch, could you stay and we'll do it then?
That'd be good.
Fair enough? All right, good. Bye.
Okay, Mr.
Bye.
Dennis. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Please.
Could Did you get Mr. Edward Kiernan of the Benevolent Association Police in New York City, please?
Benevolent Association?
Yeah, he's the president of the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association.
Right.
I think you have the number.
Yes, Mr. President.
Edward Kiernan.
Thank you.
Hello?
Mr. President, on this call is Mr. Edward Kiernan. They all seem to be at the patrolman's funeral, you know.
Oh, yeah.
The man said probably it'll be about 3:30. I said, can you contact him in the car?
You can return the call when it's convenient.
Fine, Mr. President. I'll tell them.
Hello?
Mr. President,
Yeah.
Mr. Edward J. Kiernan for you, sir.
Yeah.
All right, fine. You are?
Hello?
Hello, Mr. President.
I just called to tell you that like I'm sure millions of people in this country, was deeply shocked by the events of the past few days.
Well, I know.
And I want you to first, I am writing, as a matter of fact, I've already dictated the notes to the families.
Thank you.
But also, if you would tell the people in your organization, the people on the force, that we appreciate their service to the country, and to their city, and that they should keep their courage up. These are hard times, but the great majority of people in this country back them.
Well, I think they know that.
And even the city turned out, I understand, on this occasion, and people from all over the country too.
Today we had police departments from all over the country. Denver, Colorado.
45 different states, they tell me.
Unbelievable.
That's fine. Well, there you've got
you know that our people respect you.
Well, I was just down in Alabama yesterday, and I was in both Mobile and Birmingham, and of course there were huge crowds and everything. But I just made a point to be sure to speak whenever I could to one of those fellows on the beat and thank him for what he was doing, because that's what we really need to do. We need to reinstill among decent people respect for the men who protect us from the criminal elements.
Well, I think we're on the road to that right now.
Right.
Swinging back that way, Knight.
Right. Well, it's too bad that an incident like this has to shock people to their senses, but I think it had a good effect, and in that respect.
Well, people, they have to be shocked every once in a while.
That's right. Well, you extend my best to the other men in the force, will you, please?
Certainly will, son. I really appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Bye.
3:15.
Yes, please.
Colson, please.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
I got a hold of Kiernan just now.
Oh, excellent.
I told him that I had written notes to the people in the family. I extended my sympathy through him to, of course, them. And I asked him to extend my very best wishes and appreciation to the men on the New York police force, many of whom I've met personally over the years when they have been there to escort me when I've arrived in both private and public capacities, and that while this was a terrible shock to have this kind of a thing happen, that in one sense it may have served a useful purpose in alerting the whole country to the fact that whoever we are, whatever we are, black or white or anything, that we owe a great deal to men who serve on the police forces and who risk their lives in order to save our lives.
Excellent.
Words to that effect.
Excellent.
He said he was grateful. So you pass it on to whoever you like.
We'll get the Daily News will call him, and I think that'll be very helpful, sir.
Bye.
He's a great supporter.
Price, please. Ray Price.
Thank you.
Oh, sir. Did Andrews work on the West Point thing?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Is he there today?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. I've did some work on it last night. I have sort of a new idea as to a cut at the thing, and I was wondering. Let's see, what time do you have now? 3:15.
3:15.
Yeah. If you could come over in about 20 minutes, could you? and then I'll just you come with him then, so that he can sort of get the feel as to how I think about it. And let me tell you my concern, right? My concern is, first is not with regard to what is written, which I think is a damn good job. My concern is that what is written in terms of lead and everything else is almost totally Vietnam, and Nixon defends policy in Vietnam, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you know. Now, I'm not going to run away from it, and I will, of course, make mention, but I think that there needs to be a rather different view than that presented at this time. I think the emphasis has got to be, in fact, my whole idea, and I mean, Pete Peterson, whom I want, if you had a talk with him lately, I want you to sit down and talk with him. His whole theory, you know, about on foreign economic policy. What do we do after Vietnam? What's this nation going to be? What's it going to develop? And so forth. He's thinking far beyond economics, as a matter of fact, now in the military field and the diplomatic field and the other fields, the question is, I mean, after Vietnam, you know, as a matter of fact, of course, it goes clear back to our Foreign Affairs article, Asia after Vietnam, you know. Now, I would like to cast most everything we do at this time in those terms. In those terms of, you see, right, if it's the Soviet initiative, if it's the Chinese initiative, some of these won't come off, but some may. It fits the transition from war to peace. It fits our economic problems and a lot of other things. See.
Good. No, I like that very much.
Yeah. All right. About 20 minutes.
All right, sir. That's in the Oval Office, right?
EOB.
EOB. Right.
Yes, please.
Julie, please.
Yes, Mr. President. Yes, please.
Garment, please.
Yes, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Garment.
Len?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, how did your what artists go?
I have in front of me is some comments that were phoned in by Nancy Hanks.
Yeah.
Let me just read you a couple of these. I frankly didn't have a chance to identify the people by name, but these are leaders in the field, and some of the comments are marvelous speech, comes across as marvelous humanitarian. In one speech, he will advance the cause of arts more than I think even he realizes. He's done so much already, but this will make them fly. Isn't he fantastic? Terrific. No politics. Not political at all. Kind of guy you'd want to know. My gosh, I'm going to go back and get our governor to tell all his agencies they've got to get involved in the arts. Best speech he's made since he's been in office. It had the feeling and it had specifics. I felt the sincerity. Oh, it's really absolutely. Well, I told them to get
maybe away
in the bushes there and back in their states, and but the feeling in the crowd was one of just enormous, great response. I thought it was first rate.
We can get a little of that through. Well, anyway, I don't know. We never know whether this issue is worth much of a damn, but at least it's something that's important to these people and also important in the long run to what we do, so we just got to do it.
Oh, I think it's a real kind of a sleeper issue. It affects a lot of people, and a lot of people that write, and a lot of people with money.
Oh, certainly that.
All over the place, and they really, we were able to, I know people that I have access to now that I never did before because of the arts thing.
It might affect a few clarinet players.
So I'm just sending you a memorandum, and we've got very good news from Taft Shriver. He's got a commitment from Sam Rothberg and another major Democrat in California to go out and hit the trail and raise $5 million next year.
My gosh. That's something.
For the next time around. And that's related to well, I'll put it down in the memorandum.
What we've done, what, movies?
We've done, no, not movies.
Oh, yeah.
Middle East.
Oh, yeah, I see.
And this comes in, it's quite explicit.
Yeah, right.
And these are leading Democrats who are going to go out on...
Were you in San Clemente when we had that meeting with the movie people?
Yes.
You remember what that...
I wasn't, but I know all the details.
You remember what... Well, then you know the story I told is absolutely true. Some guy over there, the bearded guy or something, and one of the guys attending, boy, but not bearded, long-haired, he told me exactly that they'd already taken about... I think he told me there were 10,000 kids from Watts had been taken to museums.
Right.
And musical thing, not musical, I don't know what kind of music, but I didn't care.
Well,
that meant something to those people. They got that.
In New York,
I thought it was interesting too. The little story about shall we go second class? And I remember that.
Right.
That story. Believe me, is 40 years old, but I recall it when I was working. It's really true. A woman, she must have been a remarkable woman, did it for nothing to come there and tell us that when she came back from Europe, the family voted: shall we buy the painting or go second class? And they decided, well. Or go first class, and they decide to buy the painting, which I think is
good way of illustrating priorities.
The best way.
That's really terrific. And we've had that in a number of places where I think that it is true that the people have something to tie them over.
Well, the main thing we need is this: if we can get across the point, Len, that, and I do feel strongly on this, that damn it, that just food stamps and a little more income and increase my Social Security and give me better plumbing and so forth is not all that is in life. That there's a hell of a lot of people in the world that don't have much, but who... Well, there are a lot of people that have everything and have nothing, and there are a lot of people that have very little and have everything. That's really what these people in the arts ought to be doing to tell people. In other words, a person who sits there, in some of the greatest people in music, they had to have angels later on, but they started from very poor families.
That's right. And, and when you said this is the kind of thing that could take them up on the mountaintop and give them some vision of what life is outside that miserable city. And
otherwise...
marvelous passage, by the way. That improvisation when you lifted up and went into that whole thing, and how that really drew a rifle shot of applause. But
well, okay. Well, the main thing is to tell Nancy to
get out there.
Tell her to get behind those beards and find out what those people are doing. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Director Hoover, please.
Thank you, Mr.
Hoover.
President. Yes, sir. Mr. President, I find Director Hoover's en route home. In about 10 minutes, he'll arrive.
No, just when it's convenient.
All right, sir. Please.
I think Mr. Haldeman's on his way home. He can call me when he gets there, please.
All right, sir. Thank you. I have Mr. Haldeman for you now, sir.
Oh, yeah.
There you are.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, any late developments after I saw you today? I understand I'm going to see Ehrlichman tomorrow on drugs, which is good.
Right.
Good.
Ehrlichman and
we had a very good meeting with Hoover and Ehrlichman.
Right, that's what John said.
Got a meeting planned for next week, and John's really right on the ball, and Krog will get on it, and I'll stick it to Mitchell, and that's that.
Well, that's good. Then you've really got Colson cranking on the other, the follow-up on the police business, and we had a few things going. I guess he told you that
no, I haven't talked to
the
Colson.
other stuff was going on it, and he didn't know it. But we'd had a
it's checking, going how
on the New York case, and we've got some federal action going.
Good.
And got an awfully good story on the Star, lead story tonight on the economy, because the leading indicators are up again.
Oh,
so the lead headline is Index still predicts upturn in economy, 6 months of increase for Gage.
Good, about time.
So
the market still dribbles along. What happened to it today?
It was off 28 cents or something today.
Oh, nothing significant. Well, maybe it's reached the bottom.
Very minor drop, but just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it was, I don't think there was, let's see what the volume was. 13 million shares.
The reaction to our trip, I think, has been quite good.
Awfully good, yeah.
I told Price that you ought to read that little thing I did for those editors, because it really will give a lot of these people a sense of, while it's rambles and all that, it's a sense of perspective, which they really need.
Yeah.
Be helpful.
The Senate, you may have gotten the report on the Senate vote. The Hughes pay amendment was defeated, which is a monumental victory for us, because all of our analysis was that we weren't going to be able to beat it.
What does it provide?
That was the $2.7 billion pay increase.
Oh, yeah.
It was the way to try and kill the draft by
volunteer,
so-called volunteer army. And they beat it 42 to 31, which is a damn good vote.
Well, there's something. Colson's analysis, Bob, is that he really, I says, what the hell's happening? He thinks that our strong stand on NATO, the uniting of people, then followed immediately by the Soviet thing, while it may not have had public effect, he thinks it's had a massive effect on these senators. He's talked to Ed Brooke and others, and they're just afraid we may have something up our sleeve, and they don't want to be on the wrong side.
I think that must be it, because
I don't know.
We're just knocking these votes off one after another here that we thought we were going to have trouble with, or that, like this one, our guys were
I know,
shooting. They thought they had that one lost.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And
okay,
they get a good vote on it. So I think that kind of thing is very encouraging. Now the Senate will pretty much collapse, I think, after today. Getting ready.
I have a feeling we're right in putting the conference over now. I think everybody's leaving, they're collapsing, they're leaving, and we wouldn't really hit them when they're listening.
Well, I also checked, the Nielsen people say that their estimate would be a normal Friday night is about 31 million homes. A normal Tuesday night is 36 million homes. So Tuesday is better.
And this will not be too normal.
No, and they say this Friday night would be only 27 million. It'd be 4 million off of normal.
Yeah. Good.
So that's tremendous. That's 9 million homes. It's 20 million people.
Right. Okay.
So I think we are right to put it over.
Okay. Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, sir.
Yes, please.
This is Mr. Butterfield. Ring Tony Sidley, my secretary, please.
And is the president talking on the phone?
To Henry Kissinger, yes.
Yeah, I have Director Hoover returning his call now.
Returning the president's call?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just tell him. I'm waiting until he gets off the phone just to go in there. I'm just in his outer office, and I'll tell him that.
All right. Now.
Or I'll tell you to connect Hoover.
All right.
But the president is busy now.
Yeah, well, I thought he was. His light's on. That's Tony Sidley?
Yes.
Right.
In my office.
Okay. In your office?
Yeah, she's my secretary.
Oh.
You didn't know that? Mrs. Sidley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Butterfield's office?
Mrs. Sidley, when you finish the thing to Haldeman and to Ehrlichman, before you go, would you type on an envelope big enough to put one of those security folders in, so it has to be bigger than that?
Yeah.
To be opened only by Mr. John Ehrlichman. Confidential / sensitive, and to be opened only by Mr. Ehrlichman. I'll take this thing up and leave it with him.
Okay, does a copy have to be made of the Ehrlichman one?
Does it what?
A copy have to be made of the one?
No, the whole thing to Ehrlichman?
Yeah.
No.
You've got a copy of the report to give him?
Oops, I got it wrong. Yeah, I've got everything.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Yes, please.
Mr. Hoover, please.
Thank you, sir. I'll put him right on.
Right on.
There you are, sir.
Edgar?
Yes, Mr. President.
You're probably way ahead of me, but may I tell you that in terms of the New York situation, at this particular time, since these people have not been apprehended, the national security, information we seek is unlimited.
Yes.
Okay?
It's okay?
Yes.
On that line,
And you tell the Attorney General that's what I've suggested and ordered, and you do it. Okay?
I'll do that.
Don't you agree with this?
I agree with it thoroughly.
By God, let's get these bastards.
And the agent in charge of my New York office told me he attended both funerals today.
Good.
And saw the commissioner and conveyed to the commissioner, as he had previously on to the other high officers there at New York, that the full facilities of the FBI were available.
Good.
And we'll make them available, and I'll go all out on the intelligence in this thing.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I've already alerted the president of the National Association of Chiefs of Police to hold himself in readiness for Wednesday or Thursday of next week, and to have his officers hold that day open, as they will be called to Washington for some conference. I didn't indicate what it was.
That'll be a good meeting, and then we'll follow that up with the on their recommendation with a meeting of, say, 100 top police and sheriffs from around the country.
We have that scheduled for the following Monday.
Right.
Already.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good. Oh, you have.
Oh, yes, indeed.
That's great. That's the way to work.
Yes.
And then we'll get at this, and then I'll come by the academy and give them a little pop, and we'll.
Fine.
Okay.
Fine.
But let's get these guys. By God, it just sickens me to see people shooting policemen in the back.
It does.
Doesn't it you? Of course it does you, but it does me as just an ordinary citizen.
When you stop to think of this thing in New York, where one man, as I said today, was shot 6 times in the back of the head, and another man 12 times in the back of the head.
Oh, my God.
Now, that was not, it wasn't...
That's sadism.
That was sadism. That's just what it was.
That's right. And the New York Times will probably write an editorial pointing out that the guy that shot him was raised in a bad neighborhood.
Yes, it'll be poverty.
That's right.
The slums of New York.
That's right.
Contributed to it.
That's right.
Housing and all that sort of thing.
But that isn't the reason. These people are bad people.
Of course not.
Right. Okay, Edgar. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Yes, please.
Miss Nancy Hanks, please.
Thank you. Mr. President, Nancy Hanks is out. She's at the National Collection of Fine Arts. Did you want me to reach her there?
No. Oh, don't bother.
How about at home? Yes, please.
Operator?
Yes, sir.
I just placed a call to Miss Hanks.
Yes, sir.
And she's at the National Collection of Fine Arts.
Uh-huh.
And I'd go ahead and reach her there. I think she'd like that.
All right. Very fine. Thank you, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Miss Hanks, please.
Thank you. There you are.
Hello?
Hello? Well, Len told me you survived your day.
Well, listen, I am down here with about 1,000 people who think you are the greatest man in the entire world, not the United States.
That's because I know you.
No, not at all. But
well, everything went well, okay.
Oh, it went okay, not okay. More than that, they were so thrilled with your response, what they've been talking about. And, I've never been in a place with such a feeling of response. It's just marvelous.
That's good. Well, that's fine.
And you're wonderful, dear to call. And I'm just so thrilled my own self personally to sort of be able to forward the aims you have.
And the main thing is you got to make it work now,
Oh.
Not just get the dough, but, get it around, huh?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I'll do it. Thank you for...
And you give them all my best, please.
Certainly will.
Well,
we just will.
That's right. And you get all the credit. Bye. Bye.
No, I don't. You get it.
Bye.
I'm giving it to you.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Bob.
Yeah.
I wondered on the samosa dinner, how many were we planning at this point? How many have been invited? Or do you know, around 40?
I think we were figuring 40 or 45.
Yeah. What I'd like to do is to make it with women. I'll tell you why. She's going to be there, his wife, going to be at Blair House, and Pat otherwise will have to do a lunch for her or something.
Okay.
And it'd be hard and all that stuff. Let's just give the old boy a real show. Make it a black tie dinner, wives too, and that allows old Sevilla Sacasa to bring his wife and all that stuff. Okay? Right. Easier for us too. It makes it 80 or 100 for that matter. See?
Okay.
Don't you think it's a nice idea?
Yeah, I didn't realize she was going to be here.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good way to handle things. So if you just change it to
especially since it's not just a class reunion type thing.
Yeah.
That was originally.
Right, and that we're going to have the ladies and the gentlemen. That way he sort of has the feeling of a mini-state visit. We did it for Saud, we might as well do it for this fellow.
Okay.
Okay, fine. I think that'll be a good way to kill two birds with one stone.
Fine.
And incidentally, after the
at dinner, Pat tells me that there is a little problem. That's a second. Between then and the wedding, she says she doesn't feel we should have any events in the White House then.
Yeah, well, I got a note that they wanted to close it from the 6th on.
Well, the staff, really needs a rest, not a rest, but they need to get ready. And so, except for breakfast, let's not have anything from then on. Can we do that? We don't have anything, do we? Nothing we have to do between then and those events.
We have that 80th Congressional Club reception.
No problem on that. No problem on that. That's easy.
And, no, that's it.
Good. Okay.
There's nothing.
That takes care of everybody.
Nothing more scheduled.
That's fine.
Next thing after that's the branch dinner, which is the 15th.
Fine. Well, we worked the staff pretty good,
Yeah.
In fact, we do more than anybody else.
Yeah, and that wedding's going to be a lot of work for them.
Tremendous amount of work. So
that's a good idea.
Fine. Okay.
We will keep it clear.
Okay. Anything else of importance?
No. Tonight's the big night at the Kennedy Center, so everybody will get that.
Julian David mentioned.
Oh, did they?
Mrs. Eisenhower, they had to see her before they left.
Yeah.
Let's go up there. They had to see her here. So they went to the reception for her. There to that. But this is the gala where they're going to raise $350,000 for the kids to go.
Yeah.
Of course, what do I have to do in the darn thing?
On the center?
Yeah.
You'll have to go to one of the opening concerts, and I think you ought to go to the second opening, which is the Symphony Hall. And that'll be with Antal Dorati. The first opening is with Leonard Bernstein. I don't know if you ought to go to that. That'll be all Kennedy.
Right. When is the second?
It's on the 9th, I think, of June. No, September.
Oh, great. Great.
Oh, hell, it is. They haven't even gotten the thing built yet.
Oh, yeah.
This thing tonight's going to be a total mess because the theater, there's no seats in the theaters or anything. It's all a lot of construction work.
Let's put it on the basis that we're going to go. We want to be there for the Dorati, the Washington Symphony.
Yeah.
That's the way it's going to be. The hell with Bernstein. Why should we go to his?
Well, you should. He's done a special composition saluting Kennedy and all that. The Kennedy family, and I think you should. I think it's more gracious anyway for you to let them have their.
That's right.
Their thing, and then you go to the sort of the other opening.
Good.
They're both going to be huge functions, as far as social stuff and all that kind.
That's good. Good. Is that September?
September 9th.
I might not be here.
I know.
That's okay.
That's fine.
Good. Okay.
That's all that.
Fine. Okay, Bob.
Okay.
Yes,
Mrs. Nixon, please.
yes.
Yeah.
I have Mrs. Nixon.
Well, Pat,
Yeah.
I want to tell you it's all works out fine because we were only planning on 45 to 50 for, stag. We're just going to invite the wives and makes it a nice dinner of 90 people, perhaps. So that'll be it.
Good. I think that's great.
And also, as far as the...
it's more fun for the men,
period
too.
Between that and the wedding, the only other thing that we have planned is the following night I have to give a reception, for the 80th Congress people.
Is it going to be at the White House?
It'll be here, yeah, just a reception.
Yeah.
And
But with the wives coming
wives, sure. It's just a reception, though, and a cocktail, and that's all.
And then we
Nothing
turn
else.
it off.
Nothing else except I'll have a breakfast now and then. That's all.
Yeah, but Dick, we even have to talk about that
No,
because
but there's
there are
no
ways to do it easily.
There's no breakfast scheduled except in the, in the small room downstairs. That's all.
Yeah, but they use that as a serving room when they have to clear it
No,
out.
no,
It's
no,
better
no,
to have it in another room.
Well, we'll do that too, but
Yeah.
I don't think we have any plans.
I'm going to look it over.
Okay.
Because, they have to clear all the serving apparatus out of there.
I know. But
And so it's better to have it just like in the nap room.
Fine, we'll do that.
Something like that.
Nap room was fine.
Because it's much more
Sure.
accessible. Yeah.
Do that.
Good. Okay. Bye.
Mr. Andrews, great prices on this. Hello.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
I want to tell you that I think this is a very good job on this draft. There won't be anything more tonight. I made a few changes now. Get in the morning, and I'll take another look at it. We'll around 3, 4 o'clock tomorrow. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
The help you gave me yesterday was just invaluable, and it was easy to go through today.
Well, it's a fine job. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Would you try to get Cardinal McIntyre in Los Angeles, please?
Yes, sir.
Would you get me Mr. McGreevy, Michael McGreevy, McGreevy. I think the call is on your list over there in San Francisco, please.
Yes, sir.
Michael McGreevy. Okay?
Yes, thank you. Please.
Would you try to get from Mr. Leonard Goldenson of ABC in New York, please?
Yes, sir.
And then another call. If you get Cardinal O'Boyle in Washington.
Yes, sir.
Archbishop of Washington, please.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
I have Cardinal O'Boyle for you, Mr. President.
Yes.
Mark.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. President.
Your Eminence, I noticed in just reading through, I'm working in my office tonight and reading through my files that you celebrated your 50th anniversary of your ordination on the 21st, and I didn't call you, and I just wanted to congratulate you and...
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and you sent me a most gracious and kind letter.
I know the letter came, but I wanted to personally talk to you, too.
I responded to it today, and
did you?
Said the difficulties you are having, and that we were praying for you. And I just want to tell you, Mr. President, that I have admired the stand you have taken on Vietnam.
Well,
I should have told you before this, but not only on that, but on so many other things.
Well, you're very kind to say that, and I want you to know that on these issues we have to stand firm. We're concerned about a lot of things. I've been so the last 2 or 3 days. I'm sure you've been as shocked as I have about those terrible police killings in New York and other places. And, and we just got to have some people stand up against these things.
Well, I really, I think at times, I've had controversy here in the diocese, you probably know. But when I think of what you have to go through and the way some people do not treat you kindly at all, I say, well, I am indeed comforted by just thinking of what the president has to go through.
Well, that's very kind of you. We'll see it through. I often say that's why they pay me this big salary. Well,
God bless you and keep you, and be assured of our prayers.
Thank you very much, and I just hope I know you're in good health, and I just hope everything goes well for you.
I thank you very much, Mr. President, for being so kind as to call me.
Thank you very much. Bye.
I hope that letter...
Yeah.
Mr. President, when you call him Mr. Goldenson, he's in the hospital for a checkup, but he can be reached. We do have a number.
Who?
Serious.
Who's this?
Leonard Goldenson of ABC.
Yeah, I'll talk to him there.
All right, I'll get him.
All right. Hello?
Mr. Goldenson, sir.
I found you were in the hospital, but I thought could tell you that first two things. One, how grateful I am for the fine job John Scully is doing and telling you.
Oh, good. I'm delighted.
Second, that I've talked to Colson, and I think that we have that other matter that involving that cable thing pretty much on the track at the moment.
Oh, good.
I think he has been in touch with you, but I've after our conversation, I told him to watch it closely, and fine. You're in just for something, just a checkup. Oh, fine. Yeah. Oh, they can't. You're too tough for anything to happen. Fine. And the main thing is not to do what the doctor says. Not everything. Otherwise, you live long, but you won't enjoy it.
Right. Dana Ashley up here is me up here every year for a checkup.
Oh, he's right. But then just do about 80% of what he says, but the other 20% enjoy it, huh?
Right.
Tell him that's what I said, will you?
Well, I certainly shall. I'm delighted on Scully. He's a good man, and I was hopeful that he could do a great job for you.
He's doing a great job. He's been very helpful in this. When we had this breakthrough on the arms limitation salt, it was very good, and there are other things coming along where he'll be just indispensable.
Yes. Well, I'm delighted, and thank you very much on the other matter.
All right. Thank you.
And I keep listening to our news people, and I think they treat you very nicely.
Oh, I have no complaints.
Harry Reisner is coming through beautifully.
Yeah, he's a very fine, objective.
And of course, Howard always has been.
Well, Howard's a good, strong man.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, you've got to have balance. Sometimes somebody comes in, gee, look what this guy says to the rest, and I don't care what network it is, and I tell them, well, keep your cool. Look, we just, particularly when I have the opportunity, like on Tuesday, I'm going to have have a press conference, and I do about one a month. And my goodness, when I go on at prime time, that has an enormous impact. And
there's no question.
You fellows give us that. What can we complain about, right?
I think you're handling yourself in those press conferences very well, and I think you've come through exceedingly well.
Well, I just hope, Leonard, you're feeling okay, and as I say, don't do everything the doctor says. It'll be very dull.
Okay.
That's what I tell my doctor.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Do you have a report on that McIntyre call?
Yes, sir. We're trying to reach him right now.
Okay, fine. I'll hold then. Thank you. Hello.
Mr. President, Cardinal McIntyre is in the hospital.
Oh, I see.
And but I could reach him there if you want. They said he was taken there a few days ago.
Fine. Can he take a call?
He can take a call.
Fine, I'll take it there.
All right.
Hello.
I have Cardinal McIntyre.
Yes. Hello?
Good evening. How are you?
Well, Your Eminence, I just heard that you had been in the hospital, and that this coming at the time that you just celebrated your 50th year of ordination, I wanted you to know that all of your friends were thinking about you, and I wanted to wish you well from Washington.
Well, that's very gracious and kind of you. And I tell you, I've been thinking of a lot of you recently, because I've been doing a lot of negotiations about this work that you started so well and is soon going to culminate at this hospital out here.
Good.
I want you to tell you that you're in our prayers and our thanks at all times.
Well, thank you very much, and
the family.
They're just fine. Our daughter's going to be married on the 12th.
I know that. Give them my love and my blessing, won't you?
I certainly will, and thank you.
Where is she going to be married?
Right here at the Rose Garden.
Right. Well, I'll send her a letter.
Well, thank you, and let me say that I just hope that everything goes well for you and that you...
I think I'm much better today, and I think I'll be all right in a few days, I think.
Fine. Well, you're
always a joy to hear from you.
Well, you're a strong man. They can't get you down.
Tell that to Asa.
Yeah, you tell Asa that fellows like you and Asa there are too few of you. You just keep, you get up and get out again.
We're all right. We're on the way now.
All right. Fine.
God bless you already. Take care of you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Yes,
Secretary Rogers, please.
Yes, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Secretary Rogers, Mr. President.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering if you thought there was anything significant in the Sadat Gardney thing.
No, I don't.
Just sort of anticipated, I suppose, or...
Well, I think what they're trying to do is to make it appear that they haven't lost their position with Egypt. And this is the only way they can think of to do it. They don't want to discontinue any support. They don't want to threaten anything, because that would really make Sadat mad as hell. So what they're doing is trying to figure out other ways to make it appear that there's been no change in their relationship. Which indicates that he wants to continue the discussion he's having with us.
Good.
So I don't really...
Well, that's what I anticipate. I'm going to have a press conference Tuesday, and I'm going to play it just low-key.
I don't think it... I think that he's trying to, play both ends against the middle, and this is the way to do it. It doesn't say a hell of a lot that they didn't have in former treaties. They've got several treaties now. So this is just window dressing. I'm quite convinced of that.
It was interesting that Faisal's comments, which of course I thought were totally predictable, that were picked up by everybody as indicating that he was, sort of making his, indicating differences about their attitude toward Israel and ours. But actually, anything less would be totally not candid. And beyond that, it's also true that he has to protect his own position at home.
Sure.
That poor guy can't come over here and tell him he favors the Jews.
Incidentally, Mr. President, you'd be interested in an article that Cy Salzberger has in the Times this morning out of Israel, which says that they're beginning to come around our point of view.
Right. I haven't seen it yet.
I'm upset about a story about China in the Post this morning. The goddamn thing obviously is a leak from the department. It isn't. I don't think it's harmful particularly, but it's embarrassing.
Oh, I saw that.
Well,
I just assumed that somebody...
Well, of course, the thing has been kicking around so long, and we've talked to a hell of a lot of people about it. So a lot of people, but I was particularly embarrassed.
They knew you were over here, and they probably...
No, it didn't. Nobody knew we were talking.
Well, what I meant is I figured that even though it's probably some lower person had no idea what we talked about, but who just tried to put things...
I don't think they even related to that. They know that the paper's over there.
Right.
I think what
the thing to do just to play
what prompted the story was Austria's decision yesterday.
Well, I didn't see it in any other papers.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
I think the thing to do is to simply. I think if you could handle it, and I
will.
If you would have your McCluskey call Ziegler, tell him how to handle it.
All right.
Would you do that?
Yeah, I talked to Henry about it too. We're just going to say no decision.
I think if you could just tell. The main thing is to get Ziegler and your fellow just to sort of low key it. Okay.
Okay, fine, Mr. President. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Edgar Hoover, please.
Thank you.
Hello.
Mr. President, Director Hoover's en route to the office and expected shortly.
Yeah.
Can I leave word for him to call you?
No, at his convenience.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Mr. President, Mr. J. Edgar Hoover, return your call.
Yeah.
You are?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. President.
Hi, Edgar.
Fine, thank you.
I was doing a little thinking last night, and You notice where this clown Harrison Williams was claiming that he said that the White House was blocking an attempt to let the FBI go in and do help out.
Yes,
and of course, we answered that. Kleindys answered it, and we answered here. And of course, you know the directive in November covers that. And then I also saw your letter, which indicated, my God, in New York, you're practically running the thing.
They are?
Well, which is good. I mean, you're running it.
You see, Mr. President, in all of the killings of police officers, as I pointed out, I think in a recent memorandum to you, the local police within 30 days apprehend 96.5%.
It's just one thing where we aren't needed. Here's what I had in mind. Now let me just run this by you to think about and not answer. And I'm not thinking of a public announcement on this, incidentally, so much as to just as a question of tone and so forth. First, I think it would be, the reason we've got to oppose something like the Schweiker bill is it would get the Bureau immediately involved in every police case.
That's very true.
And this we must not do.
That'd be a national police thing.
Right. That we must not have. The second thing is, however, on the other hand, if on a case-by-case basis, you could determine that you would want the Bureau to get in other words, where you sort of had the scent or the smell of the national conspiracy thing, you know, then that's a different matter. Now, would it be, for example, possible to say something like this? If you were to get a directive to the effect that and of course, this would have to be by, with I suppose, approval by the Attorney General, or I don't know, or something like that. Yes. Where it said that where law enforcement officials, I mean, where there are attacks on law enforcement officials, and where there is evidence of or suspicion of conspiratorial or not conspiratorial, but you know what I mean, other than just a crime of violence. Yes. You know, the kind of thing like the Panthers and all that.
Panthers, right? So Democratic Society.
Something where it's basically that kind of an action. Yes. That then the Bureau, on a case-by-case basis, should go in and will go in and do everything that it can. Now, what I'm really trying to get at is this: is to find a way to get a handle so that you could go in only on cases where you want it, and and that would mean cases where it did appear as if it were this other thing. And then second, to go in with everything you've got. In other words, you could with surveillance, electronic, and everything. Is that already covered, or what is?
Well,
what you
I tell you what is being done. It might be well to consider a public statement along that line. But New York, for instance, we've got now, I think, 80 men on a special squad, and I've instructed the assistant director of New York to take it as a bureau case and break it as a bureau.